All right, welcome back. Thank you for joining. We have been talking about some linen and different ways to fold linen and put it on tables. Now we're going to do the infamous box folder. This is what messes a lot of people up. They have to show them and they just can't seem to remember. So we're going to record it here so you can always go back and review this if you're ever asked to do this fold. Basically what this is used for is classroom sets. So when you have schoolies set like this, and there's going to be an instructor or something up front. It could be for a meeting, for a group meeting. It could be for a wine tasting. We've done this many times for wine tastings. You're going to have people sitting on this side and everybody facing the one way. So what we want is we want floor length on one side, and then on the other side, we don't want it floor length because we want guests to be able to sit underneath it and get their feet and legs underneath the table as much as possible. So, we've set up two schoolies here. We can go as long as we want. We can do 8 foot, 6 foot, whatever. But let me show you how to do the linen on these. So we're going to start. The linen we use are smaller linen. We do not want to use 90 by 90s. I don't even want to use 70s. I want to use 60 by 60s, which is the smallest linen we have. If we had 50s, I'd probably use a 50. But we're going to do the 60s here, and it'll work. So what we're going to do is we're going to start on one end over here. We're going to put the linen on the table. And the first step is to make sure that it's the proper length on the front side of the table. This is the side facing the instructor or whoever's talking. So we're going to pull this down. I usually want to go about 1 to 2 inches off the ground. I don't necessarily want it dragging on the ground. So we're going to go about right there. So that's the first step. Next, we want to measure the end of this linen this way. So we're going to pull it towards me. While doing that, we want to make sure, we'll check and make sure that this stays the right length there. How far down do we pull it? Well, there's a way to measure it. If you were to pick this linen up and imagine that the table were to continue here, and this is a straight line coming down, we're going to grab this piece right here. We don't want to grab it here, that's at an angle. We want to make it straight, so about right there. Nice straight line, and then I'm going to bring this over, fold it over. You can see it does not hit the end of the table. We want this point to be at the end of the table. So we're going to pull it down a little farther, and then we're going to try again. That might be a little long, so I'm going to go back just a half an inch or so, and we are right there at the end of the table. So that's the right length this way. I'm going to come double check, make sure that we're still straight, and the proper length here. Okay, so that's step 1 and 2. Step number 3 is we're going to do the first fold. Now, on this part, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that the table runs this way, and we're going to grab the linen in a straight line over here. So I'm going to pick the linen up here. Again, I don't want to pick it up right there because this is at an angle. So I'm going to come over and pick it up off the end of the table in kind of a straight line, so imagine that's about right there. I'm going to hold that. Next, I'm going to put my hand here and hold this corner down. And I'm going to fold this point up to here. So I'm going to hold this down and fold this over. Okay, so that's kind of what you do. Now we want to straighten out the linen. So underneath, you can see it kind of folded over a little funky. So we'll get that straight. Okay, we want it nice, everything straight and even. All right, so we have this folded this way now. You can see there's a crease underneath here. It's okay to push that down and crease that. Now that we have that done, the last step, next to the last step, is we're now going to hold this corner again and we're going to fold that back. As we folded it over, it left this crease and it left the linen over there, so we're going to hold this here and grab this point and fold it back. And you can see this crease now comes to the end and folds straight down and is creased. So what that did was it boxed off, made a nice square at the end of the table. Now it's a little bit on the ground there, so I'm just going to take it and just give it a little pull this way, not much. And there we go. So now, you got this little triangle here. It's nice and square in the front and it's square on the side, nothing hanging or dragging on the ground. So we did this corner. for this end of the table. Now we're going to do the other end of the table. I'm going to grab another 60 by 60 and do the same thing over here. Now what happens is people do one end of the table and they get used to doing that, and then they come to the other end and like, oh wait, everything's backwards. So you just have to practice a little bit. So now, again, the length of the table, the long end, we're going to grab this part here to measure. And we got to go a little longer. So that's about right there. Maybe go back just a hair. Okay. So continue to double check, make sure we're at the right length there. Now, the short side of the table, that's the side you're going to bring this way. And you're going to try and get that straight line coming down. Back. Right there. Hold this corner here so you get that nice corner crease. Bring this end up. And straighten it out underneath. Crease this underneath here. Crease that there. Now I'm going to hold this corner here and I'm going to fold this back. So I come back with it. There we go. Again, draping a little bit on the ground, that's okay. We're just going to give it a little pull back. Could be a little bit tighter. There we are. So now you can see that it drapes to the floor on that side. It's not to the floor on this side, but that's okay. Guests will be sitting here with their knees going under the table, so it's okay that that drapes under it. Now that we have the two ends, we will then come back and do a center cloth. Again, I want to try and find the center, equal distance. And this one is nice because you don't have to do anything. You basically just match up the length on the front. Take a quick look. So that looks pretty good there. All right, we want to make sure that the table is covered and overlaps the linens. If it were to be too short, then I would do two linens and I would put one here and one there. So now we're all set. We can put chairs on this side and then do whatever classroom sets, notepads and pens or glasses or whatever we need to do on the table. But we have a nice squared off Boxfold on each end of the table. So keep this in mind. If you ever have to do this or we ask you to do this, this video certainly can help you, guide you in how to measure and how to make sure you do it right. Thank you very much.